Let the word go forth.
Fool me once.
Are you fired up?
I'm not a crook.
Are you ready to go?
Shame on you.
It's Abe Lincoln's Top Hat, hosted by Ben Kissel.
Fool me, we can't get fooled again.
All right, now.
Welcome to the show, everyone. That's Marcus Parks. I'm Ben Kissel. Today we're joined by Katherine Timpf. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Katherine, you and I met. We met on Friday night.
Yep.
Here at the Creek in the Cave for this fella Nick Turner. He was having a birthday party, and that's where we met. And we had a great conversation. Mm-hmm. And I found out you were a reporter and you're a writer for this thing online called Campus Reform. And it's a conservative website.
It's a conservative website.
And so you work with a lot of dude bros.
I work with a lot of dude bros.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's located in Arlington, Virginia, the office.
Okay.
It's just like dude bro central all around.
And you get along with them, though.
Yeah, I get along with dude bros.
Yeah. Who do you think is more fun to hang out with? Do you like to hang out with a conservative fellow or a liberal dude? Who parties better?
Libertarians. I'm a libertarian.
Right.
It's neither. I think it's the libertarians, definitely. I feel like maybe more liberal people smoke more weed and more conservative people just like drink scotch on the rocks.
And cocaine.
Yeah. Scotch on the rocks. They're like, they act like it's like they're just tasting the scotch.
Right.
But really it's because it's scotch and they're going to get drunk. But
absolutely
it's acceptable.
wasted.
Yeah. Wasted.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we were talking about libertarian politics and stuff like that. And of course, with campus reform, you guys tend to focus on freedom of speech issues. I mean, at least you do.
Right.
And of course, these seem to be endangered on college campuses here in America. For some reason, there's a lot of people who don't want to hear counteracting point of views.
Right, exactly. A lot of everything is offensive.
Yeah.
It's amazing. We'll write a new story every day about something that comes out as being racist or insensitive or a microaggression.
I mean, and this is why we need a good war. Because then these college kids can actually protest against something.
Yeah.
I'm envious of these kids in the 60s and 70s, civil rights movement, Vietnam. I mean, they had something to fight. I went to the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, and there was only one protest on my campus the 4 years I was there, getting my degree in political science, and that was at the student hall there, the union, the student union, and some people were protesting karaoke because the evening before, some racists sang Rolling Stones' Brown Sugar. I swear to God. I swear there was a protest.
I believe you.
I'm just trying to get, the half off mozzarella sticks.
Yeah.
And these people are screaming at me about an iconic rock song and how it's racist.
I forget which college town it was, but a bar in a college town, a DJ got fired because he played Blurred Lines.
Yeah.
So
Really?
He made the bar an unsafe space with his rape culture song. And he just played this hit song, and next thing you know, you lose your job.
Well, Pitbull is never going to be allowed back in goddamn whatever small town that was in. That's so.
Who knows
Do you
what it
think
was.
it's gotten worse?
It's getting worse all the time.
Yeah.
Because it's cool. It's
it's cool to be offended.
Yeah, it's cool to be a pussy, about everything at
You're
this point.
protected.
Yeah, exactly. And then you don't want to say anything wrong. The only things you're allowed to do is compliment somebody, but in a way that's not a microaggression.
Oh, what's
Or,
a microaggression? This is new.
It's little tiny racist things or offensive things, pretty much everything. I went to a feminist conference, a college feminist conference, and everyone there was violently upset when a speaker addressed the crowd as "you guys." I was like, okay. And she was like, we're not all guys. You can tell. Then they got equally upset when someone
you wonder
said,
if she was confused for a second.
Well, someone said men and women, and you guys is offensive because you're supposed to say men, women, and people that do not conform to those gender binaries.
I mean, the speech is going to be 3 hours long. I can't be sitting here this whole damn time.
Exactly.
Offend me. Just call it hello, women. And I was like, let's move on. I don't care.
I don't care. You guys, I go to a college, I'm like, hey guys, and next thing you know, there's a hashtag on Twitter to throw me off the campus.
But
I could see something like that happening.
Hashtag get Katherine Timpf
Get
off.
Katherine Timpf off. She said she is insensitive to gender issues.
I don't know. I feel like you're safe because you're beautiful, and all beautiful chicks are allowed on college campuses. Yeah. That's a rule.
Know.
You're going to be okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, me and Ben.
Oh, off immediately.
Yeah, completely off.
Never been
You'd
allowed
have to
on.
call everybody men, women, and people that don't conform to those gender binaries.
Yeah. I'm just going to call them
that.
little kissels. What's up, you little kissels? How you doing? And they're going to love every second of it.
Yeah.
Do you think these kids are going to outgrow it? Because when you're going to college, obviously, this is when you have your sociology classes. You know, you relive the history of America. So, like slavery, you think it just happened Saturday, and today is Monday, and like nothing's changed. And so you're just in your peak of your educational experience, and you're hypersensitive to all these. There was the new thing that came out with the ice cream truck song about how that's an old racist, tune, and some people want to change the ice cream truck song, which is just madness.
It's not. It was Turkey in the Straw is the song, and the racist song was based on Turkey in the Straw.
I mean, I tell them all the time.
How much do you have to do to go, like, how do you find these stories? Are you like, look at everything? I wonder if I can find out a way that's racist.
Right.
And publish it and send it to Jezebel and,
how can I ruin ice cream?
Yeah, it's like now you've ruined ice cream trucks.
And now you feel better about yourself. And really, for all intents and purposes, you're just a bully. You're just calling somebody a racist, which is probably the worst name you can call somebody in America today.
Right. Well, because everyone shuts up. Like they don't even have to have a point, but you're just like, oh, I don't. Oh yeah.
Do you think that these kids are going to outgrow their hypersensitivity, or do you think it's just going to be the way it is from now on?
I don't know, because honestly, they're getting all this validation from the school. Like the school will cancel events if someone says it's racist or offensive. Right. They have professors. A lot of these professors are pretty wacky in terms of this kinds of stuff. So I don't know if you get it. What else are you going to do if you get a degree in like women's gender studies, theory, sociology, microaggression, racism studies? Like what else are you going to do with that besides just walk around and look for things to be pissed off about?
I mean, you could build the world. You could build the world's worst highway because you actually have no skills.
You have no skills.
You have nothing to do.
You have no. I mean, well, you think about the unemployment rate among youth people or youth. It's like so high. And the colleges aren't focusing that much on like getting kids jobs. They're focusing more on like, are you sensitive enough when you hang out with other people that there's a whole list of things that could possibly offend them, and you need to know how to not do that.
Well, it's a distraction. I think the colleges like it because I think you're right. It is a distraction. They don't have any time to think about like, oh, how am I going to get a job with this? They think about how am I going to get offended at this thing that's right in front of me.
Right. Well, I mean, the average student loan debt for someone who graduates in this country is $30,000. And like a lot of them don't get jobs, or they get jobs waiting tables, but they know how to walk into any situation and make sure that they know the exact appropriate words to use and not I mean, come on.
But I mean, if you get offended and if you complain about company culture, because when you're an adult, people just say things and you just have to roll with the punches and let the water roll off your back. I mean, that was the thing with Joel Abramson over there at the editor for the New York Times. Apparently, that was her big issue. The big issue was she was too mean to all of her staff, and the staff became hurt by her cruelness. But the fellow that she replaced, I believe it was this guy Bill Keller. Evidently, he was like notoriously critical of everybody. And part of me almost thinks they hired her because they were like, well, she's a woman. She'll be nicer to these people who are now like sensitive little doves.
Right.
And they got their feelings hurt, and she got fired.
Right. I mean, well, I feel like if you're a boss, what do
you do? How do you tell somebody to do something in the nicest possible way?
Use I statements. It makes me feel upset when I see that I have not received an article today. I mean, come on. The whole world is not like going to be nice to you all the time.
I mean, these people coming out of college, once they get into the workforce, the first time they're told to stay 10 minutes late and they complain about it.
It's because I'm a woman. It's because it's like, no, it's because you need to get your work done.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's the one thing about I was a sociology minor. I was a sociology major for a little while, but then I realized I think it's a fairly racist major in a lot of ways. It literally just breaks everybody up by class, gender, and race. The first time, what was I going to say here? Oh, I lost it. Man, did I tell you when we met? We were taking a bunch of Molly. And I'll tell you, that's still, my brain still got that Molly thing in it.
Yeah, that'll slow you down, man.
I love that stuff.
It's great.
But it's very racist, and it gives you a lot of excuses, built-in excuses for why you haven't succeeded in life, as opposed to the fact that you just haven't worked hard or you didn't do a good job.
Yeah, you don't have to actually evaluate yourself and say, okay, maybe I could work a little harder. Maybe it won't matter if I work because the whole world's against me because I'm a female and the patriarchy has made it impossible for me to succeed. It's like, well.
Do you enjoy being a female conservative or libertarian?
I do. I don't really think of it. It's like being a female comic, too. People are like, is it harder being? I'm like, no, not really. Like, I don't really know what people are talking about. Like, there's things that are harder because you're a girl, but there's also things that are harder because you're a dude. I mean, but yeah, like this feminist conference that I went to, actually, I made a video. I was trying to interview kids about feminism because it's interesting. It means so many different things to so many different people. The organizers found out that I work for a conservative news website, and they all like made an announcement being like, don't talk to her, don't
you were
talk to
blacklisted.
her. I was blacklisted. Well, and then I had a cameraman following me around with like a green light on, so we got it all on tape, and it was on like 4 Fox News shows because, you know, it was an inclusive conference, but I was excluded. So I mean, it's just
but you consider yourself a feminist.
I don't hate myself. Like, what's the other option?
Yeah.
I'm not a misogynist. I don't know what they thought I was gonna do, but I was just asking questions like, what does feminism mean to you? And on this video, it's like these organizers being like, just so you know, like putting their arms in between me and the person I'm talking to. She's a conservative.
Which is insane, yeah.
And then they would like get these looks on their faces like they had just seen somebody get run over by a semi truck. Like, oh no.
They were just really ecstatic and laughing and stuff?
They were terrified.
Terrified.
One girl who, she approached me, she walked up to me, she's like, she's like, I just want to say that I don't care what if you have a dick or a vagina. My genitals are none of your business. If I say I'm a woman, I am, and my genitals are none of your business. And I'm like, okay, like,
that's a good
you
point.
You got it. Cool.
Great.
With me.
Yeah, that is all
cool
your business. Thank God, because I couldn't go down there and wash you down every goddamn morning and
she
night.
found out we were conservative, and then she just broke out into tears. She was
And why
like,
did she cry?
I'm a scientist, and they're gonna ruin my career. I'm a published scientist. It's like, you ran up to my camera and started talking about your junk.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with me, and I don't what did you think I'm going to do to you? Where I'm going
Who's been ruder to you, men or women, when it comes down to you being a libertarian?
I guess both, but a lot of times, I don't know. A lot of times people think that libertarian is just like someone who's a conservative, but they know it's not cool to say conservative, so they say libertarian. So I think that's kind of what maybe women, actually, because of, you know, women's rights. And what about women's rights? And like, first of all, like, no one's going to take your birth control away. That's not a thing. No one's ever said that.
Yeah.
Like, so stuff like that I do think is kind of dumb, but I am pro-choice, and like nobody ever bothered to ask me anything like that. Like, what do you actually think? They just saw where I worked. So I think maybe women, because they're like, you hate yourself. It's like, no, I don't actually.
And why is that? Do you think it's just the educational system that women have been, you know, there's just such a unified voting bloc right now, and they seem to all be very ideological in the same way?
I think it's a lot of the sound bites too, like the birth control thing, for example.
I mean, of course, these people out there, you know, like the Tea Party folks.
I mean, it's just they latch onto these things like, well, if you vote for a conservative, they're going to take away your birth control. Look, nobody wants that. Nobody wants girls to not be on birth control. I think all dudes, regardless, want girls to be able to be on birth control.
Love the birth control.
Right, because else there's condoms, and no dudes want to use condoms.
Right.
So, but they just hear that.
I'll tell you, ladies don't like the condoms either.
No.
It inflames the vagina. It does. Because I was with a gal one time a couple of years ago. Haven't been with one since. And I was using this fire and ice.
I've heard horror stories about the fire and ice condoms.
I didn't, and you know, I didn't even know why I bought it. I was stoned, and I said, fire and ice. It sounds like I'm buying American Gladiators, the condom. But turns out fire, and that doesn't feel good on a penis. And then you know what else feels worse? Ice.
Ice.
Yeah.
Ice on a vagina.
Was there
maybe if my dick was playing an NBA basketball game and it was Shaquille O'Neal and
was
he
there
ended in
a
an icy
difference?
patch.
Like, could you tell when it switched over from the fire to the ice? Was it like a time release? I don't understand.
You know, I don't know exactly what the thing it was. It was irritating me, and I was feeling hot. And then I think the woman got off of me, and she said, "I'm feeling hot," and then my dick got cold. And I think that's the ice portion of it.
Nice.
No one likes these things.
Nice.
No one likes them. Yeah. So the birth control is massive. It's very important.
So
I mean, this is a brave step for you, though. I mean, do you find yourself to be you're a minority in a minority?
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, obviously, women, they're the only minority, the majority minority, right? They just don't have enough representation, even though they're over half the damn population. And then now. But you're not siding with the mainstream women. You're going into a conservative party where theoretically they hate women.
Right, they hate women. It's like, no, I don't really feel that. I think that the kinds of things they complain about, like, all dudes think certain things about women, regardless of party. I think it really has so much to do with like abortion and birth control.
Yeah.
And like a lot of libertarians are like hands off about.
So you want, and obviously libertarians, they would be. I mean, a true libertarian would certainly, if you don't want the government invading your privacy, it starts at your vagina.
It's so weird. I gotta say though, like any men like having an opinion or try to influence policy on like abortion, like you'll never be pregnant, and it's just so weird to be like, well, if I get you pregnant, you gotta stay pregnant. You know what I mean? It's just like,
well, I mean, it's ugly men.
Yeah.
You know, it's fat guys who are just like, yes, I'm gonna do
Have you ever seen Louis Gohmert?
Yeah, exactly.
He's a Gomer. You know, as a kid, all these Gomer-looking dudes. That's why they seek the power in the first place. They never had a possibility for pussy. I mean, he's banging. I mean, you know, you can't meet a girl under a bridge and make her your wife.
I knew a dude who used to wear pro-life ties to happy hours to try to pick up chicks.
How is this going to work?
Conservative happy hours to wear it's like, do you understand like how much you're disrespecting? Like, maybe this pro-life tie will make her want to hook up with me.
It's interesting because my parents are very pro-life, and I love my parents very much, but they're evangelical Christians, and for the longest time I kind of let it go. Both of my older brothers are gay, and you know, Marcus, Chris, and Don, they just got married. Chris, my brother, Don,
I saw
is
the
now
pictures.
husband.
It looked beautiful.
They were in the New York Times. Wonderful stuff. And it was really sad because my parents didn't come. And that was the first time that I actually got to really see and feel what it's like to be not bigoted against, but to realize that your parents are like, you know, truly insane. And that's the thing with
the political ideologies can trump love.
Yeah, which is very bizarre. And that's where the Republican Party is right now. So as a libertarian, who obviously, you have someone like Rand Paul out there, who I believe is for gay marriage and things like this. He toes the line as much as he possibly can.
He would be cooler if he was not so worried about the establishment, I think, just like with anybody.
Yeah, I mean, but even so, I mean, he's pretty out there by establishment standards and things. So what does the Republican Party have to do, or libertarians have to do, to get out of this shadow of all these psychopaths?
I mean,
you know, of these. What are some of these names, Marcus?
Of what?
You know, the lunatics there on the right. My brain isn't working.
Michelle Bachmann.
Right, the HPV shot's going to make everyone retarded. That's Michelle Bachmann, and then there's
Rick Santorum.
I was just Rick Santorum. Oh, I went to CPAC and Rand Paul gave this great speech, and it was like basically just talking about NSA stuff and the surveillance, and it was very popular, and all the kids are on their feet, and it was like a huge contrast because right before that Rick Santorum had spoken. I was walking by to go do it, like coming back from a radio hit, and I hear his voice being like, in the neighborhood there are no dads. There are no dads. And it's like, he's like talking about, it's like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you actually trying to propose here? And then he's saying that people don't like conservatives because they talk about the Old Testament. We need to talk about it. It's like, no.
People don't like conservatives because they don't go to their gay kid's wedding. They don't go to their gay son's wedding. That's why people don't like conservatives.
Exactly. And he's not even conservative.
No, he's a total government overreach psychopath. How did the libertarians and the conservative Republican Party get together?
I don't understand.
Because Dennis Kucinich, you know, raging Democrat, always considered sort of a libertarian type. I mean, he likes a little bit too much government as well, in a lot of ways. But how did they get so co-opted with it?
I have no idea. I also don't understand. A lot of people who call themselves libertarians are really into bombing countries. Well,
this is they always say limited government unless you're in Yemen, and then you'll definitely see the full force of the U.S. government. Right,
exactly. And then this might be out of line, but in terms of like conservatives say that, you know, Democrats are always using like people on welfare and disadvantaged people like as sob stories. Isn't that kind of what they do with like veterans a little bit?
I mean, now the VA hospital scandal.
Right. It's just like, you guys are the same. You're doing
Benghazi, all this. If I hear one more goddamn thing about these 4 dead Americans over in Benghazi who knew very well that they were in Libya during a terrible, tumultuous time. I mean, 4 people dead is not the biggest scandal on the face of the planet when the previous administration had, hundreds of thousands on their hands.
It's just horrible to complain about healthcare spending or welfare spending and then go and spend a good bajillion dollars blowing up kids in other countries.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's really what it comes down to is like, you know, being libertarian means hands off everywhere. So I'm like...
So how do you do it? How do you get through a Republican primary as a libertarian? Because that was the one thing with Ron Paul. I mean, obviously Rand Paul is slightly more, with the mainstream establishment. But Ron Paul was just completely like, we're not going to do anything, completely isolationist. He wasn't even going to send Coca-Cola to Canada.
Right. He's
all
really
staying here. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like Ron Paul.
Oh, I think he's a great old man.
I'm attracted to him, and I don't know how to
You're
feel
attracted?
about it. I am attracted.
You want to bang Ron Paul?
Yeah, he's so hot. He's really.
I'll tell you, that's the best birth control around. 80 years old.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, if like he's not capable. So I met.
Oh my God, the guy comes. It sounds like you started a Dodge Dart from 1976
he's
or
just
something.
such a freedom fighter, and I'm really attracted to that.
Well, and he's pro-life, but because he used to work he worked in an abortion clinic, and his story, and I understand everyone has their own reasons, for their beliefs. His story was basically this baby was, for all intensive purposes, born, and then they jam the old scissors in the neck.
That's traumatizing. That would be a traumatizing thing to see.
Yeah, and then you throw the baby away.
That's
Which I guess is better than keeping it like Rick Santorum did with his dead baby, but
taking it home.
I mean, the whole thing. It's not a puppet show. Andy Kaufman's not your kid. He's not tying strings to the fucking thing.
Oh my God. I think he was still pretty hands off about it. I think it was like this. He wants like the states to decide, or
yes,
even
I think
still,
it was the states
despite
guy.
that. But yeah, he's just his problem though is how horrible of a public speaker he is.
Oh, he's very
just like, the gold standard and the Fed because
No, he's literally the guy that needs to be interrupted by the grandson talking about the football game he just played.
Yeah,
and then Grandpa can go back to his story.
Talking about ending the Fed.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's why
we just need to know that Timmy's going to go for a state championship,
right?
And then he can get back to talking about finance.
Right. Well, I mean, Rand Paul, I think, is a lot more charismatic.
He is.
That charismatic, but it's sometimes like a lot of the weirdos are the most charismatic. Ted Cruz, I've met him a whole bunch of times, and he's incredibly charismatic.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
how much hair gel?
So much,
right?
Yeah, so much.
Who do you think wears more hair product when it comes to politics, men or women?
I would say men.
It's got to be, right?
Yeah, because a lot of the women in politics have short hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're trying to get respected.
Yeah.
As female politicians.
As a gal, when you hear about someone like Karl Rove, and he's talking about how Hillary Clinton, which is just, I mean, Karl Rove's just making himself laugh.
Yeah.
That's all he's doing. He's just telling himself little jokes. But of course, she had the situation with the she's a professional football player now, so she got a concussion. Mm-hmm. And so he's like, she has brain damage, or she has some mental issues or whatever now. How do you feel like that? How do you feel as a woman when they attack her for like age and things like that? Do you think there's sexism in there? I mean, they did the same thing on the left to Bob Dole, but then again, I mean, Bob Dole had brain damage.
Right.
The man can't hold a pencil. That's what I always. If you can't hold a pen correctly, you can't be president. That's why I didn't vote for John McCain.
They
don't know how to hold
I didn't
pens.
vote for John McCain because I did not want his finger hovering over the trigger or the button and just everyone.
No, he'll just accidentally. Yeah. Oh my! Who hit the button? McCain's forehead. He fell asleep real quick. He does his micro naps like that terrible Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's so ridiculous because they'll say we want to be treated equally, but it's like, okay, well, then you're going to be made fun of.
So you think this is the left using this sort of? I mean, similar with like when you shit on Obama for a series of real issues and relevant things that he's done wrong. You're just a racist.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I feel like you make fun of male politicians for being ugly.
Yeah.
Everyone. I mean, there's really not anyone in Congress who's hot. Except maybe, I mean, Ron Paul's gone now, so.
Yeah, Ron's out of there.
There's no sexy.
And of course, Strom Thurmond. If you like Ron, you probably would have loved Strom.
No sexy dreamboats left.
Well, that Christine O'Donnell, she was pretty hot.
Well, she's not a witch. I'll tell you, if she did a political ad that says "I'm a witch," I'd be like, "Oh, you got my vote." I love a nice Wiccan girl.
If she would have owned it, she would have owned it.
Yeah.
But she like that. Oh my God, that I'm not a witch.
Well, then what are you? What are you to me then?
That's the best. Like you spend money on an ad being like, I'm not a witch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh no. Honey.
Okay, honey. So we're gonna spend $500,000 for you to just make sure people don't think you're into Wiccan and paganism, huh? Yeah. What about policy?
Right.
Well, let's get the witch thing out of the way first.
Right.
Then we'll talk about war.
Right, war. Everyone loves war.
What do you think is the most important thing right now? Do you think it's freedom of speech? Do you think it's over censorship?
I think it is because it's not just that issue. It makes it impossible to have like a real conversation about anything.
It does.
And it's like some of the same groups saying like, oh, we need to be open and understanding of each other. Cool. How can we do that if I'm terrified I'm going to accidentally say something you're going to think is insensitive?
Does it affect you anymore when people call you racist?
I mean, no.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, they.
Marcus, you?
Oh, yeah, but I've got a bit of a stigma behind me. If you're from Texas, you kind of got to be a little bit more. I already got 2 strikes against me from being from Texas.
Just own it.
Yeah.
So you're not. I mean, that's the thing. If you're not racist, it just. I have come to terms with the fact I'm just not racist,
Right.
and I've tried. I have tried, but I just can't do it. So if someone says, Marcus and I do a great podcast called Last Podcast on the Left with Henry Zabrowski as well. We did an episode on black serial killers, and we were discussing it how it's very underreported because whites. Either they don't give a shit about black people getting murdered, or whites, they're very concerned about seeing anything negative about black people.
Yeah.
So, sure enough, we addressed this on the show. The only comment on iTunes that we've ever got that has been negative was, that was racist. Of course, by a white guy. Black people love the show. We have a huge, it doesn't even matter.
I was just going to say, I bet it was a white guy.
Of course, because white people need to co-opt, because white people need more misery. That's the problem. And then they don't have to co-opt everybody's supposed pain.
Right.
Because black people are doing just fine.
Right. Well, you can't even say, at University of Michigan, I think it was, they had crime alerts if there's like a suspect that you saw doing something illegal to report to the police.
Right.
They were trying to push not being able to mention race.
So how are you going to fight? Because I'm 6'7". Can you not mention height?
Which is right. It's ridiculous. It's like you want to have every identifier of this criminal. That's
right.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Or even if you like ask a friend, like, what was that guy's name? Like, which one was he? And they'll like describe all of his clothing. Like, he had like the furry coat with like, I'm like,
the black guy.
I'm like, the black guy.
Yeah.
The guy who was black. Come on. Like,
how far is it going to go? Like, do you remember that person at the party? What did it look like? Well, it had glasses and long hair. I think it was wearing a bra. It's high heels.
Yeah.
Oh, was it it's like, guess who?
Yeah.
Just tell me who.
A female identified indivital.
Yeah, I think so.
Like a lot of schools, like if you check
I'm
off,
not trying to play a Hasbro game here.
Right.
Just tell me who it is.
If you like, a lot of schools they've adopted, like if you check off your gender on the application, there's like 6 different options. I forget which school it was, and neither of them are male or female.
Well, you know what? I always go with outie.
Yeah.
Because I judge everything by belly buttons.
Right.
I am innie or outie. That's all you got to know on these applications. I say get rid of gender, innie and outie. I want nothing but 50 and 50.
Female identified.
That's it.
Unsure.
It doesn't matter. I mean, but then
Gender
again,
neutral, masculine, feminine, androgynous.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, I wrote about this.
But these are not. But those are not. That's. I mean, you can be. It's male or it's a big tent. Right. Between men and women. So you can be a woman and then you happen to be masculine. Right. I mean, are they just trying to... Is this for dormitory reasons?
What is this on the application? What school is this? I wrote this a while ago.
The Bellevue College, of course, is Bellevue College in Washington State. Yeah.
But
then again, I mean, what do you think about this? Because I am very sensitive to the LGBT community, and I understand people have a lot of, different... These are just shells that we're wearing, and I get, if you want to, if you look like a man, you have a dick and you have balls, but you feel like a woman on the inside.
Who cares? I feel like who cares? Yeah,
it's beautiful. I mean, it's wonderful. So, but I do like them having an opportunity to be able to express that.
Right.
It's just difficult to do in a bubble situation when you just have to fill out. Standardized
right
application.
I feel like it's whatever. I just feel like a lot of times it's like more cool to have issues. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you're cool now if you, like, have some sort of horrible trauma in your life.
Do you think some kids need to be bullied?
I am pro-bullying. I am pro-fat shaming. Yes, absolutely. I think it's the most helpful thing that can happen. I was so weird in high school.
I was, too.
I loved Hot Topic.
Oh,
these
great.
like Hot Topic
right
pants.
there with you.
We would have been good friends. Yeah, all of us.
Well, we could all like sat in the back of the class and been like, they don't get us. Like that's what I did. I had this weird like side bang, chunky mullet haircut. I would not be where I am in life now if I still had that haircut.
Definitely
or if
not.
I still like spent all of my time I was supposed to be working on stuff like writing about my feelings on a notebook and like. So I was bullied and it helped me. I think.
But the bullies were also, they're insecure in their own way, but it also validates your belief. I mean, that's the thing with evangelical Christians. It's like my parents, Rick Santorum, all these people. Every time you shit on them, every time you disagree with their point of view, you validate them and make them stronger.
Oh yeah, it's like this cult that we follow very closely.
Lord Rael,
the Congregation of Lord Lord Rael, where he believes that he's the new Messiah.
Right.
He's a fat felon from Chicago.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. But
Right.
he's convinced all these people that he's the new Jesus. But every time anybody attacks them on their Facebook page, says anything, they say Satan is out to get us. They are an
Right.
agent of Satan, and they get stronger and they get more followers and they get more dug in with their beliefs. That's what they want.
So without these bullies validating your goth or alternative lifestyle, it wouldn't have been an alternative lifestyle,
Right.
and you would have been one of the sheep.
I would have been one of the sheep. I went to a Lutheran private school.
I went to Catholic private.
Yeah, I'm all like, well, whatever. They just don't get me. And I loved that. I loved to like write on myself with a Sharpie.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I used to do it with a razor blade.
Oh yeah, right.
Why
Like
not?
I'm so sad, you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of cool to have problems now. Like
But do you think that now, I mean, this whole, anti-bullying thing, all these bullies, like we were talking about earlier, these people throw very, very vindictive words out, like calling people racist, calling people anything, just for trying to, speak a thought that they had in their head that, and then that's bullying.
Right.
That's the really being rude to somebody,
That's
shutting down
really,
conversation.
really, really rude. Well, I wrote a story, this was a couple weeks ago, about how this fraternity and sorority both had fee in the name. And so they were going to throw a fundraiser for female heart cancer or heart disease patients.
Yeah.
And they were going to call it Fiesta, and it was going to have guacamole and chips and burritos.
Sure.
And this one girl flipped out and said, this is so racist. This is culturally insensitive because this is not an accurate representation of all of Mexican culture. Which they weren't like, hey, come to our history museum.
Yeah.
Come to our cultural history museum. They were like, come eat some chips and a burrito, and we're gonna raise money for.
Yeah, they didn't say bring a gun and drugs and we'll fight over it.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, what?
Well, they were already so scared that they actually formally discouraged like wearing ponchos or sombreros. Around Halloween, there was like a lot of schools that
I
were
hate
like,
this Halloween
anything with
thing,
a
by the way.
sombrero, anything with a sombrero is racist.
A sombrero is a great hat,
Yeah, cowboys
and it's raining.
are racist apparently because it's not an accurate
What?
representation. It was University of Denver, I believe. They said cowboy costumes are racist because it's not an accurate representation of people on cattle farms from the West.
Yeah,
No,
it
they
is.
didn't go to college. I mean,
only
to that
allowed-
degree, you're right, because you're dressing up like somebody.
Right, you're only allowed to dress like yourself, or else it's racist or offensive or an object.
What's the chilling effect here? I mean, are kids growing up now not feeling like they can talk? Because I disagree with everything Rush Limbaugh says for the most part.
Of course.
Like, occasionally he makes a funny joke or whatnot, and I like that he has weight issues. But
Yes.
but I'm happy that he exists. Are we growing up now in a time where people just want to get rid of it entirely? All thoughts that they don't agree with?
Yeah, absolutely. Or I think the worst thing is like this. If something could be potentially offensive, like this camel thing, like
You go into this camel
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. This story is of these kids at this college
It was,
in Minnesota.
yes, the University of St. Thomas
Yeah,
in Minnesota.
University of St.
Okay.
Thomas. Is that these kids decided they were just going to have a wacky day and bring a camel to campus.
I mean, wealthy kids, where'd they get the camel? I don't know, but that's fine.
Take pictures with a camel, but some people decided that it could be considered racist against
offensive
Muslims.
to Middle Eastern
But
culture.
that's
offensive
racist
to
to
people
think
from
that it
Middle
would
Eastern culture.
somehow be
Absolutely,
racist.
I totally agree.
It would be if somebody gives me the gift of cheese. I will not say you are being racist against the fact I'm from Wisconsin. I will say, well,
Right,
thank you for
right.
embracing something that I grew up with and loved.
They're just looking really hard. They're like, camel? That's from the Middle East. So these Middle Eastern kids are gonna be like, what? It's a camel. It's a camel, and we can all pet this camel. We normally don't see camels every day, and that's kind of cool to see a camel.
Oh man, I would love to
Like,
see a camel.
Love it. I mean,
Yeah.
what would be racist is if the Middle Eastern guy walked by and the guy was like, "Hey, Abdul, you want to fuck the camel?"
Yeah,
That's
right.
racist.
That's
racist.
offensive. That's
Unless
racist.
they know for a fact Abdul does want to fuck the
Unless-
camel, in which case he just happens to fit in
Exactly.
with the stereotype that
But it's
exists.
cool. It's cool to be
I mean,
offended.
horse
'Cause-
fucker, that's what they call people from Texas.
That's
Well, because
true.
then you're the most progressive, and you're the most. It's cool to like find things to be offended about.
It just seems like it's the new Mean Girls. It's the new Sex in
Yeah.
the City girl. All these people, anytime there's groupthink going on, it just really gets upsetting for anyone who wants to do anything out of the norm.
Absolutely. I mean, this camel, like, they created a Facebook event called Protest Hump Day with like all these.
It was
like,
for a hump day.
It was hump day. Get it? Hump day. Camel.
Sure,
petting
I
zoo.
got it.
Cute
Yeah.
idea. I would love a camel. I haven't seen a camel ever. I've never pet a camel. I think that'd be cool. Does that make me racist?
I ran into a camel at a petting zoo a few years ago.
Shut the place down.
You know what? I can show you a picture right now. It is, I think, the happiest I've ever been in my life.
I believe you.
What are you supposed to do? Get the kid with spinal bifidus to come down for hump day? I mean, how many things have humps?
San Diego Zoo, you're allowed to feed the giraffes, so that's probably, that's somehow. And you can't have any animal because whatever country that animal is associated with you're being racist against. Like, I mean, what?
You speak on a lot of college campuses, huh?
Yeah, I go to college campuses and talk to my students.
Have you ever had a real negative reaction to what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have. Kids.
And how do you so let's say, like, what would be something that you're like, let's say you say something about how Democrats use this feminist argument, and in reality, the conservatives are just treating women equally.
The thing is nobody has an actual argument. They'll just name call, like, well, whatever, you're this, nobody has any way of defense. Like, I went to USC not recently, it was like in the fall, and it was when like Obama was saying I want to go into Syria and all that stuff. And I went around with the video camera asking students, hey, I'm talking about like Obama and foreign policy, do you want to come talk to me? So I told them what I was going to talk about. I was like, do you think Obama still deserves his Nobel Peace Prize? And they all said, yeah, absolutely. And then I was just like, why? And they were like, I don't know, because
check please.
He's, one girl was like, because he's just like mellow.
Because he's mellow.
Like, I'm pretty mellow. Where's my Peace Prize?
Yeah.
So it's just like if you have this environment where if you say you're offended, all of a sudden all these people are going to rally around you, then you don't have to justify what you think.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
It's so easy. It's like there's so many political comedians out there, too, that choose sides left or right. And then all they do is go and they preach to their choirs and stuff. And I understand it's a market. It's a base.
Right.
It makes all the sense in the world. But it's not right. It's very easy to preach to a crowd.
I wish I could do that. I'm like a coherent branding failure.
Right. Oh, exactly. No, it's tough to be fluid. It's tough to have thought that is gray and bizarre.
I'm like, I can make fun of all of you guys. Like, why is that not cool?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is there anybody on the libertarian side right now that sort of represents your voice or what you think?
No, nobody represents
I feel
my
the same
voice.
way. Marcus, do you feel like anyone in the public sphere represents your voice?
God, no.
This is why we do the show.
Yeah. No. There's not a single person out there that is. No. Not even close. Makes me sad.
Well, I mean, it's good. We're filling a void.
That's right.
We're filling the vacuum, which is very difficult to tell an agent or a manager or somebody who works at History Channel. Be like, I'm creating a market that doesn't exist, so all your data is wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's okay.
I don't know. It's tough because everyone's like, people who are liberal think I'm so conservative and they hate me, and the people who are conservative are like, she's so liberal.
Yeah, which is good though.
But do the conservatives hate you for being liberal, or do you feel more of that ire from the liberal side?
I feel it on both sides, I guess. You know, like I don't know, like thinking like a lot of people who I know are conservative, they think I'm a little wacky and I'm a little like, she's naughty. Like, and
who's more conservative though? That's the question. I feel like the new conservative is liberal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're the ones they're on the forefront of the political correctness campaigns.
Right. And like conservatives want to be like, no, you should still be able to say they whatever they did in America, and they shoot a gun off on the front porch. I mean, like, that's cool. I'm cool with that. Yeah. But like,
as long as it doesn't kill a bird. I love a good bird.
As long as it doesn't kill any birdies. But yeah, it's like, why is it so cool to be as boring as possible? And just like, I can't even imagine. I don't even know how I would have a conversation.
You think we're getting more boring as a society?
I think we're getting way more boring because you're not allowed to express yourself. And because if you are wrong, and the internet too is kind of scary.
This was what I was thinking about the other day. The irony of the internet is, it's supposed to be this huge, information highway, this freedom of speech zone. And I just feel like everyone has shouted each other down to a point of total depression.
Right.
Everybody who I was just reading comments the other day on, I forget what story I was reading, and just everything was negative. Not one positive thing. I just don't know if human beings I think humans need social human contact in order to actually communicate appropriately, because when we're sitting in our underwear half drunk, or whatever, who we haven't gotten off a couch eating a bunch of cheese with and Doritos and things like that, our natural instinct is to just be a total troll.
People are really mean on the internet. They're so mean. I mean, even like I do like some stuff with like TV stuff.
What do you think about internet activism?
It's horrible. It's the worst.
But you work on the internet.
I do, and it's just like, you don't have to be held accountable for this. It's horrible because there's two sides of it. The one side is like, if you say something wrong and someone hears you and they post it on the internet, you're a racist for your whole life, even if you're like a college kid.
Sure.
But then also, it can also be done in like comments. Like, I have stopped reading any of the comments on any of like YouTube videos that I do.
Right.
Or, but like Twitter, like I'll have like really disgusting things tweeted at me all the time after I'm on TV.
Like penis pics or...
No, someone was told me they wanted to come on my glasses.
Oh, well, that's erotic stuff.
Yeah, I'm uncomfortable.
Sure.
And I
Well,
can't
I mean,
stop
you
it.
should be followed by Shepard Smith.
If there weren't the internet, then I wouldn't have to know that this strange dude
wanted to come on your glasses.
That.
You might get a letter.
I might get a letter, right? I don't know.
Might get a letter, or you might switch to contacts.
Or like, I wish she would shut her mouth and just shove my dick in it. Like, come on.
Right.
This is not helpful commentary. And like, you look at their pictures and it's like them with their family and they just like don't even care because they know they'll never ever have to actually deal with any consequences of what they're saying.
Yeah. Well, that's right. But I mean, but this is the whole point of, would you prefer a world where you get none of those disgusting comments, or a world where everyone's just completely brash and disgusted?
I think they should have I don't care. I mean, like, I'm kind of like used to it. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't read comments anymore, and if I see tweet, I block people on Twitter. But I mean, I'm not going to come out and be like, this one dude's disgusting weird glasses tweet is a sign that exists in a larger part of culture and microaggression, and this is like,
what do you
no,
think
it
about this
doesn't.
rape culture?
There's rape culture. Come on, it's horrible. It's turning dudes into pussies.
Yeah.
It's turning dudes into pussies. Like a guy, like making out and he'll like put his hand by, is this okay if I do?
Well, now it's not.
No,
Yeah,
it's not.
Is this okay?
No, but is this okay?
If you had a guy actually ask you, is this
comfortable?
okay?
But no,
Yeah.
but a lot of these guys they're having to do it. You have to be very careful as a man because I mean, granted, it's still very difficult to get a rape conviction or something like that. But you just don't want to be you don't want to be branded as a gropey dude.
At Columbia, like all these dudes who were like listed on this list, they posted it around campus, just like some random students. This dude's a rapist. This dude's a rapist, and it's like, yeah.
Were they charged with rape?
No, they were not. They were not. There was like investigations within the school, but yeah, like dudes are like it's like dudes don't even like hit on me anymore. Probably the only reason could be because of this, but like,
yeah,
but no, like it's kind of different. Like dudes don't even want to be like buy you a drink because they're like, oh, like I still think I'm trying to get her drunk.
I'll tell you, this whole thing needs to be reversed. I was talking to my friend Dave about it. He was recently single and he went on a date. The date went great, but then when the check came, he's like, well, we'll split it. I said, what do you split it? You pay for the check. You got to do certain things. Women, they do want a lot these days, but I do think that they definitely have definitely backtracked.
Yeah.
On the fucking split in dinner thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The split in dinner thing is no longer a thing for women. Women have just, open the door for them and buy them damn dinner and get them some drinks.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, it's like dudes are just scared of being called. It's like, is this?
And you don't have to ask. This is my philosophy in life, and everyone should do it. Do. And then apologize if you have to.
Right.
Do it in high. Never say, is this okay? If she says no, stop, then, I've known it's not okay.
It also is offensive to me in a way to think that because I'm a female, I'm too much of an idiot to be like, no, I do not want to have sex with you.
Right.
No, you can't, that I wouldn't say no, that if you didn't ask for permission at every single stop, I'd be like, I'm done, I did a wife been raped. Like, well, it's not the same.
And I think that's the interesting thing. I think that women are going to be the ones like yourself who are going to be more of the pioneers when it comes to remasculating the American man.
Yes, definitely. And also, like, rape culture is also offensive because, like, to say that it's not the fault of these, like, horrible people that actually do rape people.
Right.
That it's not rapists that are doing this. It's like a culture. It's like and
it's always these white women saying
something rapey in the aura. Like, what are you talking about? You're making everyone terrified.
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
So you disagree with the term in general?
I disagree with the term in general. The DJ got fired for playing Blurred Lines.
And granted, he should have been fired for playing a bad song.
It's a horrible song, and I only like it now because these people have hated it.
Right.
So now I'm like, as a matter of principle.
I did a show, and there's a gal, her name is Julie Klausner, and she's very successful, and she's a nice person. But she was going on and on about rape culture. I had to do this show, John Fugelsang's show, when Current TV was still around, before Al Gore sold it to the Saudis for all the oil money he could get. and we did a whole segment on the blurred lines thing, and it was infuriating. Because the video, it's just a bunch of girls getting paid a lot of money to do the thing that they really want to do, which is what they've worked really hard to do, which is look beautiful. Because that's not easy. It would be like looking at like Dwight Howard and just be like, well, he is just too handsome to be in that commercial. I can't believe they're exploiting him for his beautiful shoulders.
Exactly. And I mean, it's like, I like when people tell me I'm hot. Like, I don't consider it assault when people tell me, oh yeah, you're hot. And it's
but of course it can go too far.
Well, yeah, of course it can.
They can tell you they want to come on your glasses.
That's too far. But outside,
unless but in reality, if you knew the guy, if you know, well, I'll move on.
I mean, it's just like guys are just like, hey, would you like? I really like your mind, and I really let's go. It's like sometimes I will
say this. What's creepier than saying I want to come on your glasses? I want to come on your brain. Because that would require a full procedure.
I want to come on your
brain.
And
then you would be dead.
Yeah. I would not be down with either of those things. Right?
No.
Glasses are hard enough to clean as it is.
I want to make you my jizz zombie. That's not good. That's never good.
I haven't gotten that one yet, but...
You just got it.
I just got it. It's a new one for me. It's a new one.
So where do you go? What do you want to do with this? I mean, as far as getting this opinion out there, which is very underrepresented. But even like you do Fox and Friends, and you do a lot of Red Eye there, of course, on Fox. Do you find that they are? Do you think that they enjoy you for your mind, or do you feel like they sexualize you as well?
I think that Fox News actually has a really great business model, right? Because they do a little bit. Like, I'm always in the leg chair. Again, I don't think I'm being oppressed. I like it.
Well, you have nice legs. You work hard for them.
I do Insanity every single day. I work out for an hour, okay? I like when people say that I have nice legs. I don't like the dudes that like zoom in on them and make these YouTube videos with the music in the back, and it's weird.
What song is it usually? A Danzig song?
Some dude named Jack and 4 Beats with a Z on YouTube like makes these videos like Katherine Timpf, hot sexy legs with a date, and it's like, but whatever. I mean, I'm not going to be hot forever. I'm going to be like old and rickety, and like my voice is going to be somehow even deeper than it is already, and I'm going to miss being objectified a little bit.
Sure.
And like I do like when people listen to what I have to say, of course, too. And like with Red Eye, it's really fun. I get to make a lot of jokes, and like I actually told them, yes, they asked me the bullying thing, and I said I was pro-bullying, and it was really fun. But I mean, it's up to me. If I said I don't want to sit in this leg chair with the short dress on, then I don't have to.
Did you get bullied for your pro-bullying response?
No, I mean, well, Greg told me on the air that he said, well, you know, a lot of listeners sent in emails when I started gaining weight calling me fat, sweaty Greg, and then I lost weight. I'm like, there you go.
That's perfect.
Pro-fat shaming also.
And he was fat.
Yeah,
and I was
chubby.
very fat. Yeah, sometimes you have to, the truth tends to hurt.
Yeah.
And bullies oftentimes are speaking the truth.
I mean, I go through I wear fake hair on Fox also. I do 2 tracks, and it looks long and beautiful. I put they do a spray tan on your face, and you know what? I love feeling pretty. Yeah. I love it. They're like, oh my God, are you like so offended that they don't let you go on with your no, they let me go on. I just want to look as hot as possible when I'm on national television.
But have you thought about having like really stringy hair and looking all pale while you're doing it?
Have you thought about looking like really shitty because that's feminism? Like, that's not feminism.
Yeah.
I want to look pretty. I want to look really hot on TV. When I'm like old and rickety, I want to be like, that was your grandma.
It must be difficult to argue with feminists.
It's really
difficult.
As a feminist. It's because I don't hate myself. I do agree, like, a lot of things that women have to deal with are terrible, but it's like, well, you hate me because I want to wear fake hair.
Yeah.
No, they're always like, they make you wear that? That's what they always say. Nobody ever told me I had to wear fake hair.
I would love some fake hair.
I'm like, I just love, and I leave it in. I love to like go out that night with princess hair, and all my dreams come true. I mean, come on.
They let you keep it?
Well, it's mine.
Oh,
but it's like it's actually another woman's, right? But
I think it might be a horse's.
No,
Marcus, you might have raised this horse. I mean, who knows?
Female's hair, and it's on these clips, and they clip it in here, and then they clip it in down here, and then they curl it all, and I look beautiful.
Is it like getting a heart transplant? Do you immediately crave the food they loved?
No.
You never want I hate sushi, but they put in these hair transplants, and I can't get enough of it.
That's interesting. I've never thought. I'm gonna have to think a little bit about my behavior.
Just when they clip them in, see if you feel differently.
I will. But when I clip them in, it's like the most glorious moment of my life because I finally feel like the princess that I've always wanted to be. Don't take that away from me.
I would never do that. I can't do that at all. What did you think about that Ban Bossy campaign that was all over Twitter?
Oh man, that's the worst. Ban bossy.
Yeah.
Like ban everything. Let's just ban everything. I mean, I don't care if you call me bossy. I don't care if you mean, like, okay, so we are saying that women are so sensitive and so helpless that if you call one bossy, it's going to ruin their life.
Right.
And they're going to feel bad about it. The reason that more women aren't in CEO positions is because they're worried about being called bossy.
Yeah.
That's offensive to think that I don't have bigger balls.
I'm going to ban poopy pants.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'll tell you, I had a real shart the other day. Let's just move on from there. All right, Marcus, what time are we at?
We're at 6:34, 49 minutes.
I want to continue this conversation.
Well, you can come back though.
Yeah.
We gotta know. We have another show that we got to do, but
Yeah.
I mean, go absolutely come back.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, totally. Totally.
Yeah.
Having a
I
great
think
time.
you're welcome to be on the other show, too,
Yeah.
if you want to be.
Yeah, I want to be on all of the shows.
Yeah, you can be on all of them. So many questions. All right. So, what is it? What's your Twitter at?
KC Timpf.
KC Timpf.
TIMPF.
And then that's Marcus Parks on Twitter. I am Ben Kissel on Twitter. And you know, don't send her things about glasses.
No.
You know, don't
I wanna
mention
know where you wanna come.
Man, isn't it funny how that used to just be a thought that a man would have on his couch? It's like, yeah, I'd like to come on her glasses.
I mean, the audacity.
And he's not going to fucking write
Now
a
he's
letter.
going to let me know.
Yeah, now he can just, now he's got a machine in front of him where he can immediately tell the person on the screen exactly what his horrible fucking thoughts are.
Yeah.
Instantly.
It's not good. So do you think the women have become more empowered or less empowered because of all this?
I think less empowered because thinking that we need all this special help is more offensive. I can handle weird coming on the glasses, dude. I can handle creepy guys, you know.
Yeah.
I can handle myself.
Yeah.
So I can handle being called bossy even.
You can?
It wouldn't ruin my life.
Oh, you're so strong. Look at you. I'm going to give you a pat on the head
So
after
ridiculous.
this.
All right, leave her alone. Jesus Christ. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for listening. And we will talk to you soon. And all right, goodbye.